Hello and welcome back again. This is your favorite teacher, Teacher Moses. Today I want us to talk about break. If you open your Microsoft Office Word and navigate to Layout tab, also in Insert tab you'll find something like this one called here Page Break, and in Layout tab you'll also find something called Breaks. Then inside this, if you click this drop down arrow, you will see these things: page break, we have column break, we have text wrapping, we have next page, continuous, even page, odd page. All these things are very important and they are very key. I'll handle today the page break, the column break, and I think next page, continuous. I think this is the most commonly used breaks, and I think it is good for us to handle that. And those are the 4 things I'm going to handle for today. If you can see here in the first section, we have the page breaks. As it suggests, we have the page break, the column break, and text break, text wrapping in the first section of page break. And the next section is the section breaks, that is next page, continuous page, even page, and odd page. Now let's start with I want to start with continuous break first, then I'll come to page break, then column break down here. Follow me keenly because it's a little bit complicated, but if you follow carefully you will understand. It's that very simple, but sometimes people do find it difficult to understand it. Now let's say this first page of mine, if you can see from the first page, I did copied some texts and pasted here. I left a blank space. Then I have a lot of page down here that I've pasted the same text. These are the same text as this one, but I want us to try and format this page, this same page, that this first paragraph, this paragraph will remain as a single column the way it is, but after this I want to put here 2 columns in the same page. Remember, in most cases when you try to put a direct column like 2 columns, it changes everything like that one. But now in this case I don't want it to be like this, but I want it, this first page, the first paragraph to remain the same as first column. I mean single column. Then these 2 paragraphs I'll divide them into 2 columns. The first column will remain this left side, and the second column the other side in the same page. Now how do I do that? Now after I've typed my first column or my first paragraph, then here I'll click at the end of my paragraph, then I come to breaks. I'll come to breaks. Then what do? I come and break part of the section. I'm not using page. If I'm using page, it will go to the next page, but if I use continuous, it will just break this section. From this section forward, I'll manipulate my document the way I want. Now if I click continuous here, see, now it has allowed me, see the cursor has dropped down to another paragraph. Now it has given me the ability to format my next section the way I want. Now this gives me a window so that I can come to this place. I can decide to click now 2 columns, or I'll go to more columns, and choose 2 columns. If I decide to use 2 lines between, it's okay. If I don't, it's okay also. I just want it to be plain, 2 columns but plainly. So I'll click 2 columns here. Remember, let me repeat again. I'm still here, then I'll go to columns. I can use this, or I can come here and click 2 columns, just like that. Then click OK. Now see, it has given me the room to navigate. Now here I can now introduce the next break. My goodness, I can introduce now the next break. Which break is that? The column break. This one. I'm going to introduce the column break because I want this first paragraph to remain here and the second paragraph to go to the next column, not the next page down here. See, so I want it to remain here in the same page, but the next column, the beginning of this paragraph, like this. Then I come to break, then I click column break. It goes up there directly. See, just simple as that, and it is magic. It is magic, isn't it? Wow, I love this. Now I'm going to introduce you to the next break, which is let me start with section break, the next page. Now if you can see, when I changed the section break, we changed from it was in a single column to 2 columns, and remember, it changed from this section to all of the next pages. All of these pages converted into 2 columns, and I want it now this first page to remain with a single column and 2 columns here. Then after the next page, I want it to remain with the same 1 column, not 2 columns the way they are, because it will interrupt my work. So I'll come to the end of this paragraph, then I'll come to my break here, then I'll come to section break and break the next page. I want to break the next page. Remember this, because I've finished my work with the first page. So the next page is where I want my things to change. If I try now change this to 1 column, it will affect the first page, and I don't want it to affect the first page. So I want it to alter the next page only, and going forward from the second page going forward. So I'll come here and come to breaks here, then I go to section break, then I break the next page. So I'll click the next page. Now my cursor has come to the next page. Remember, it has pushed all the text that were in that page to the next page. Now what do? I want to convert it into 1 column. I can decide to go to more or remain here. Now I don't need to go to more columns, but I can choose to click 1 column, just like that. You can see from here henceforth, you'll see it has come normally. Now I want to bring this back to the second page, like this. Backspace again, it comes. Now remember, see, first page is 1 column, then 2 columns, and the second page, now it has remained into 1 column. Now let's say I have a topic here. Let's say preface. Let me use preface. Then after preface, I have something here, let me say here. Then I write something like dedication, something like the dedication. Remember, so long as I have formatted my first heading, I don't need to bother about the second heading. I can format it using the previous lesson. Remember, go home, and I want to tell heading 1 to match my selection, so I'll update heading 1 to match my selection. So now from now henceforth I will not be repeating formatting my heading. So I'll click to dedication and click heading 1. It will pick what I've formatted. Then after there I want to click and to add declaration like that. Give it heading 1. After declaration I want to give it something like acknowledgement, like that. I give it heading 1. Then I'll put something like introduction. Let me say introduction. That is good. Then we can continue chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and so on. Now I was introducing another break. So remember we have tackled column break. That is the one that helped me to move this column from the first column to the next column, remember. Then now here we tackled what we call section break. Section break breaks between the first section. Remember, like here we broke this section from this first column, the one column. Then I wanted after this section to do 2 columns here. Now this is different between breaking a page. A page break breaks between a page from one page to the other, like the one that I'm going to introduce here. I'm going to introduce page break, not section break. Section break breaks between a small section. Let me say you want to do perhaps after this you want to introduce 3 columns after this in the same page. Perhaps you want to introduce 1 column, 2 columns, then 3 columns. Then you'll break the section break. But in this case I'm going to break the page. From this page, preface has to remain alone in its own page. Then dedication has to go to another page, next page. So I'll click here, just click there. Then I come to break. Then I can click now page break. Page break is here, and also in insert tab. In insert tab you can find the page break also. They are the same. You can use them. They are the same, so long as you understand its work. So I'm going to click page break. Now click like this, boom, it goes to the next page. It takes that heading from this page to the other one. And remember, now I can do this. You can try yourself. Now come, click here, go to page break. It goes to its own page. It leaves dedication alone there. Now go to the next page, click acknowledgement, then break, then click page break. Then go down introduction, click it in the the beginning of the word introduction, then click here, then click page break. It takes introduction to its own page. Now if for example I decided now after here introduction, let's say introduction had about 2 pages. After here, let's say now I have chapter 1 here. Chapter 1 here, let's say chapter 1 like that, and I want to introduce it now to the next page. So I'll click here, press enter, chapter 1. Remember, I can decide now to come here, give it a heading 1 also, so that it matches the first headings like this. Now I can decide now to click before the word chapter, and I come to layout, breaks, then page break. Now see, it goes to its own page. I can decide now to go after chapter 1. I jump at least 3 pages and I introduce chapter 2. Perhaps after there I can introduce chapter 2 like that. I can introduce chapter 2 like that. Then come to layout, breaks, then page break, just like that. See, now if I click here preface, it is in its own page, dedication in its own page, declaration like that, acknowledgement, then introduction, then chapter 1, then chapter 2. See how these things is simple. So it's all about how you understand how to manipulate through your document. Now remember, I've handled page break, I've handled column break, I've handled the next page, and I've handled continuous. And I'll repeat once again. If you want to use, now let me go one by one at the end of this page here. Let's say I'm repeating the way I did in the first. Let's say these two paragraphs will remain to be one column. Then the next paragraph will be two columns. Now I'll click at the end of this page, this paragraph like that, then come to break, then section break. Remember the section break here, continuous. Click continuous, just like that. It will go to the next paragraph. Then after then you can introduce the column. I told you can decide to go to more columns. In this case I can decide to I don't want to go there. I just click directly two columns like that. Now see, it has created two columns, and after two columns now I can introduce after this section, let me say I want to introduce now three columns. After this section I want to introduce three columns next here. So after this page I want to introduce three columns next here. Now I'll come here and I'll break the next page. Yes, section break. I'll break the next page, section break. Then I introduce three columns like this. I click three columns. Then let me copy these paragraphs here. Let me copy these paragraphs here like this. Let me copy these paragraphs here like this. Control C means copy. Then Control V, C. Three columns are there. Now we started with one column here, then we broke continuous here, then I decided to put two columns, remember. After then I decided to break the next page, then the next page I decided to put three columns. I can decide now to break after here. Let me say I want to break from here, and I want the next page to be landscape, not portrait disappearing. Now I want the next page from here to be landscape. This one now, this page will be landscape. I don't want to be portrait. Now I'll click here the way I want. I can decide also here, whichever place that you feel it's good for you. Then after there, come to break. Remember, you must break the section first. That is next page. Click like that. Then you can change it orientation to landscape. You see, now I can change it to one column or left or right, deciding the way I want, just like that, one column. I can now come down here. I say the next page I want it portrait, not landscape. So I'll come breaks, then next page, then change it to portrait. It's as simple as that. But in this case I want the next page landscape, just like that, change to landscape. So section break plays a very big thing here. So once you understand these things, it will be very helpful. So you'll understand how to use page break, you'll understand how to use column break, and so on and so on. Let me finish by recapping on column break. Now if I say I have a title here, let me call it Maji Mazuri, like that. Then I highlight it, give it a bold, let's say a red color, Maji Mazuri, like that. Perhaps I'll decide to underline After underlining, I want this Maji Mazuri not to start from here but to the next column, like here. So I'll come here, click in the beginning, and then come to break, then introduce column break. It is the same as the way I started using it here. Remember, this paragraph was here, but after clicking here, then I introduced the column break. I clicked the column break, then it moved from here to here. The same case, the way you see it here, it has moved from one column to the other. This is different from page break. If I would have clicked and I've said I wanted to page break, then it would have moved from this page to the next page here. That is the difference between column break and page break. Page breaks takes this heading from this page to the next page, but column break takes this column heading from this column to the next column, like this one. Now if I click here, then break, then column break, it takes it here. Then I can decide now, after there, now see here, if I decide let me say Maji Mazuri, then down here I put Maji Matamu. Let me say Maji Matamu, like that. Then I highlight, give it bold and red also. I don't want to give it a heading, then I want to column break it. Now remember, we don't have another column on the right. It would have gone from this column to the fourth column up here, but now because we don't have another column on the right, then it will move automatically to the next page, because that's when it will find another column. See here, and so on and so on. That is the power of breaks. So if you understood, thank you so much, and I wish to stop by there. And if you have any query, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here for you. This is your favorite teacher, Teacher Moses. If you have any problem or any other challenge, don't hesitate to leave your question at the comment section, and I will handle it in the next topic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Be blessed.